thing which he did, and yeah, but we can't get this recording here in Germany. They don't open it. I can't get that recording. I want to say.
You can't hear it online, or you can't hear it from.
No, I can't get it online because they say there's with GEMA some problem. It's not allowing.
But you can listen to when we play it here. You don't listen. You don't hear it.
Yeah. No, I heard what you played. I heard, and it was very good, and I liked it. And
okay.
yeah.
Because
and I want. Yeah.
Tell me.
No, I wanted to say one thing because I looked up also, and actually the music was also according to his way of life also, because he was very straight also in his life.
Gould, Glenn Gould, you mean?
No,
Furtwängler.
Because he was one of the few who was defending those who were going to deported, and he was standing there, and even with the high NS people, he was giving his opinion. He was keeping straight, and that somehow it's very clear that he had the channel to up. Otherwise, he couldn't have done that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But you must be a special person to do this. They would have killed me anyway.
Yeah. Right. It's just impossible otherwise.
You have to have a way of saying things in such a way that it becomes possible.
Yeah. Right.
But it was. I mean, you know, for me, this points to the future. This music.
Yes.
And I was watching for it all over in the internet for similar things, and I got many propositions, but he's the only one. Together, partly, but it was also partial for him. It was. I don't think that it was all the way, all the time. Like if you listen to the first movement, it is not there.
Mm.
In such a way as when you listen to this second movement. In the second movement, it is from first to the last note. It is just incredible.
Mm.
For that, they had even in that time they had this. Don't forget, von Kube was also going through a lot of hardships, and he was Schenker's student.
Mm-hmm.
Now Schenker was Brahms' student.
Mm-hmm.
Now Brahms, he was a very good pianist, and Brahms told him, and composer, and Brahms told him, don't fix yourself on composition, go to the, Schenker was a theoretician, no?
Mm.
And Schenker then invented this kind of system where you have the whole build-up of a symphony or of a piece, where you have the beginning of the chord, the first chord, then you have in the middle of the piece somewhere, you have a build-up to a maximum, and then you have a go-down in simple terms.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, it is not that simple because you have to know which chord exactly is marked on the way that importance has this importance. And Furtwängler engaged von Kube to do that for him. Now, it was not only that these people were listening to and analyzing the pieces, but there was all this knowledge behind which Brahms left on the way of composition, what it means to go there beyond that that rational. And Brahms had it from Beethoven.
Right.
And Beethoven had it from somewhere else. So they were all connecting pieces of something which was stupendous in Europe, because it led to this art of composing and art of reaching that spirit. I have here some things that Brahms said. If you want, we can look at it. and we can see how he was composing also, because Mozart was also composing in that way.
I mean, for Beethoven, one says even that he himself said improvisation was for him greater than his own compositions.
Then,
for example, in the own compositions, that actually what he improvised, and some of his contemporaries said what he afterwards improvised on the stage, for example, this choir symphony, which is before the Ninth Symphony, which has all inside already the melody that he said that he composed on stage, means he just improvised.
Yeah.
That some things he got their inspiration on them when he was there.
It's always greater. It should be greater than composition, improvisation on the composition.
I don't know. I am not so sure, Vladimir.
Yeah.
Because if you want, we can go through that, what he said about composition. And it might have had a great effect on people. This is another thing.
Yeah. Well, in that sense, because it's actualizing through yourself, yes? Of course, it cannot be greater than composition in one sense, because it's only improvisation.
But when one sees also Beethoven actually had so many books full of notes, which also Ninth Symphony, after how many years this Ninth Symphony came into being, or other things also. There were so many notes, and which in Bonn they started actually, and then in Vienna most of them were composed, and a few were also composed in Bonn. But yeah, so it was a long work and long inspiration, which probably was all which. Till it got ripened, and then it came as a ready product, so to say.
Well, these people went into trance when they composed, you know. They were really seeing something. They went beyond the visible things that we see. And composition was a means to do that.
Yes. One composer which I like from the contemporary, you also know, of course, I feel has also this connection very much as Ervo Pärt. And it was now his 80th birthday, and there was a lot in radio and TV. We had a few cell phone, which of course it's in German. But I don't know what you feel about him, but I feel it's also very. He had also some experience actually also where he changed his composition.
I know him too little. I don't know.
Yeah.
I have played some pieces, but I can't say anything. You know, for example, from the pieces that I played, like the Kreutzer Sonata, what kind of subtleties there are, and the pictures that come up while playing that piece. We can talk one time about it. But it is, it is something strange, because there we were playing with Pushkar one piece, and it was by Brahms. And these things which are so true, they seem to have a structure which is universal. Because what has happened, it was that I opened Savitri. Just I was upset because always the same words came to my mouth about this interpretation. And while thinking of it, I was thinking, I was thinking nothing actually. I opened Savitri and I started reading. And the thing was that it started coinciding with this Brahms. I can show you when you come to Pondi. And
I don't know what,
and we went through the whole piece, whole Brahms. This Brahms is sonata for violin and piano, and you could just take this piece from Savitri and put it over the motifs, and you could fill up the whole thing until the end of the sonata, and it matched. So, and Brahms was also about, it was the late 19th century, so it was this beginning of this modern epoch, it was well, beginning. They were already thinking in other terms, no? So it was interesting what was going on in Germany, how they prepared the whole thing, also with these philosophical texts of Hegel and what Rod was talking about, no? So for sure they were in connection with those things. So even when they composed, they had another picture in mind, which was much more near to this holistic kind of vision than what we see now, also in interpretation, where the spiritual factor, where God or Christ or God knows what, it is belittled. Yes, also there is also, but this one belongs to the church. No, let's not. Very few people have the guts really to speak about it, to come out with it. So let's see now what can be done to understand better what we are doing there in interpretation, and how this can be applied, that we understand all of us the same. Because if we hear music, one says no, but it was pretty good and it was fantastic, it was da, but no one can pinpoint to that and say, no, he's expressing this one, and because he is expressing this one, it is not to judge someone, but to have an approach like to a good mechanical piece of when something is really well done. You can say it is well done because it runs smooth and because it is good material or God knows what. You have some kind of criteria. But so many people play well. All the people now, they play well the violin and the piano and everything. Because we have conservatories and everything seems to go, the principle of the fool, no? Everybody can do what he likes, so basically it must work. Yeah, don't make mistakes, then it's fine. And the weirdest thing was for me at least, Glenn Gould's Mozart sonatas. It seems that he mocked the whole thing, you know, of interpretation, because it didn't make sense at all what he did. At least I don't see anyone around who could say, okay, this was really perfect.
Yeah, could be that they do it on purpose.
So that's why what we were talking about, it was this, that either you are immersed in the creativity and enjoying somewhat the movement and the beauty of it, or you are being it, and then you have another stand. Even technically, you play differently. We were talking about it last time, like this Russian lady was playing this. And about this distance which she created as a kind of observer that observed something which was there, and she commented on it with her feelings. So already it is not that what it should be or what it is, but it is her interpretation of what this means to her. Whereas Gould is not like that. He is that what he's doing. If you want, we can listen again to these pieces to recollect it, because I found another piece by Gould when he's playing, and he gives so much importance to this direction, and it is so strong that it is almost, I had the feeling. You remember we were talking about there is this incident of Sri Aurobindo's walking in his room with the feet, really each foot, and you could see the footsteps. At least at that time they saw the footsteps. It was so strong, pounding a kind of putting into this flesh and into this being, this consciousness of being, of this higher being. No? And maybe we can listen to that, what Gould is playing, because I was like shocked if you listen to it and you compare it with others. And as listening to Furtwängler, there is a kind of sunshine of something that is not being done as interpretation in his time. Nowhere, I didn't see it at least. Maybe there was such attempts, but I didn't see anything like that. So it seems to me that Gould also, as a person who meant what he did, he was a searcher. He was someone who left all that what people did behind. He invented his own technique. He played in his own way, and it came from a kind of spirit's vision of a kind of vision of something. We want to see it. We want to listen. Yeah. Vladimir, I need your. Okay.
Just 1 second. I give you the rights.
Yeah. Hi, Shakti.
Hi.
So it is not so present, and it creates this kind of distance between. How can I say? There is you who is here, and there is that what you do.
Yeah, that is you who is listening. And there is you who is perceiving it, listening to it, who is not only an instrument. In the first place, there is an instrument. It's like you are not there, or something. There is no listener, there is only one who is performing, or how to say, giving sound. Yeah, he is not listening. He is not adding his own listening to it. And this is what you call self. I was thinking, what is this? But now I understand more.
Now you see, the thing is that when you are like this, when you play like this, then it starts all with being, and then you could see that he leaves place to the wideness, study, and as if he was continuously seeing something in that space that he creates with sound.
Yeah, well, it is as if, because you are seeing it now, because he is not interpreting it. He is not giving his interpretation, and because of that, it gives you many more possibilities, so to say, us. And these possibilities we are to choose or not to choose. It's up to us. In her case, it is more definitive already. She already defined for us a line of her own listening or her hearing. She is interpreting it for us. We are listening to her interpretation, to her emotions, to her
exactly, yes. So she's
to the music.
Well, I find that I'm much more fond of this when you leave it free to the listener.
Right, I understand. It's more Shaivik in a way. And this is the difference between Shaiva and Vaishnava, which we are talking about reading poetry. Rod is more fond of Shaivik, reading poetry. That means giving only a rhythm and not claiming any interpretation or understanding while reading. And this is what it is. Now, it's a good definition, by the way, Shaivik, in kind of revealing what it is as the self, without listening and without reacting to it and without showing what you understand by it.
Yeah, exactly. It has to reveal, that what it is, what it reveals itself by its powers, because the self is not only the self is comes in with its knowing and with its powers.
Right.
with its consciousness. So if you become conscious of the directions, then you become you put forward out of the self the powers of the self.
Shakti, can you hear us? No, can't you hear? Shakti, can you hear? No. If you click on the microphone on the side, there is this arrow up, and there will be different microphone choices. So you choose your microphone. It's in the left corner where the photos, where the videos are, 4 videos. And in the left corner, there is my microphone. No, I mean on the screen with the mouse. And you click the microphone and the arrow like this up, showing, small next to it. And there will be microphone choices, speaker choices. So you choose there your microphone and speaker choice that you can hear us. Can you hear us? Do you see it? No, she doesn't see. Wait a minute, I will show you. I can't show you like this. Look, Shakti, you see here on my screen, now on the screen I go up, there is mute microphone, stop video, all these. So if I mute, but near the microphone, there will be an arrow like this in your case. Can you find it? Maybe she can't hear us. Can you hear us? Can you nod?
Yeah, right to her. I go to get some water.
Oh, now I can hear you. I can hear you now. Put earphones. It's quite clear that in one case we hear the interpretation of the music, which is where he tries to remove himself all the time. He can't succeed always, you know. Once in a while he has to react, and he reacts. Once in a while you hear piano note in between or something. He cannot be a robot playing, yeah. It's not possible. He has to be living being.
Yeah, we come here to the holding. What is he holding, and what is she holding? And these are two different things.
Right.
And they are both fantastic pianists.
Yeah.
But they hold different things.
Right.
Now, this choice of holding, I wondered while playing at times if you describe something or if you embody something. Now, if it is the embodiment, what will happen? It will want to widen. If it is descriptive, it will go deeper into the emotions. It will try to find a great variety of interesting things because it wants to make interesting your thing for the audience.
Can be not necessarily. Can be also listening. I am playing to myself, and I am here the enjoyer. And that enjoyment which I receive, you can hear. And this is something else. Yeah? He alone does not want to do that. He does not want to enjoy. He wants to let music be. and he wants to remove his reactions, his own, or maybe he doesn't have. Suppose he doesn't have the enjoyment, and then he plays like this. Or he wants, and I think he wants consciously to remove, because I hear that once in a while he goes into it, and he would love to go there, but he does not permit himself. And so it's kind of, austerity of the spiritual purity. Yeah? He would not permit himself to slip into that enjoyment for himself. He wants music to come through. He doesn't want it to be his. And she wants this music to be hers. It belongs to her. It is playing for her, not for the audience. She is playing for herself. He is not playing for himself. I would say he is playing for the audience to decide, whatever. Whatever is there, you see. It's not my business. I am not going to spoil it for you with myself, with my interpretation. Because there is no reaction in his listening. He is trying hard to hold on to the thought. Actually, he doesn't totally succeed to hold on to it, because he is doing it. He's trying to do it, but it's visible. It's a very good example, by the way. It's a big issue of what is music, to whom we are playing it, who is to be listening. And if there is the self who is playing or the self who is listening, there are two different selves.
Yes, now the thing is, that we come to the point. Because then we go into this issue of prana. What is prana? What is this force? And because you play with force, you are obliged to manage force. And there we come to that what Sri Aurobindo was speaking about it, and we can just go through these small texts if you want.
Yeah, please.
And then we can pose the question again of interpretation, and how it changes the point of view, because now the point of view is then if that force would do it by itself, cleansed of all these small desires of wanting it like this or like that, how would it act?
Right.
And I had another thing in mind, but I forgot what I wanted to say.
It's like psychic and spiritual view. Spiritual will be this which will not give the emphasis of whatsoever from the point of view of evolutionary being. Evolutionary being is not engaged. It's like involutionary music. Yeah? It comes down. That's what he tries to do. He tries because he succeeds partially, but I can see that he's doing it really, as you see, as was your example. But there is this evolutionary being or psychic who wants to enjoy the divine.
Wait a minute.
Wait. No. You wait. And then you will tell your interpretation. And this enjoyment of the psychic is exactly Vaishnavic interpretation, not Shaivik anymore. And if you listen to the Vaishnava Bhaktas, those of you who know, those who come from Calcutta, they were several times in Pondicherry and Auroville. It's Vaishnavik Bhaktas, They sing to Krishna. It's an amazing interpretation of love which appears here in us. All the details, all the reactions, they are so sophisticated. And these things are becoming the audience's food, not the music, not the very kind of prayer to Krishna, but the enjoyment which we receive in our soul when we pray. So that is Vaishnavik. And I'm making very clear two interpretations. Shaivik is this impersonal, spiritual, without specific reaction of your being, individual being to it. And when you have a reaction to it, that becomes Vaishnavic. And then you engage yourself, you engage in reaction, and your reaction becomes music. So there are two types of music, two types. Or it can be vitalistic, it can be low, it can be emotional, it can be not correct, whatever it is, but it is the personal reaction. Or it can be very sophisticated, very subtle, very bhaktic, very pure, psychic also. And prana in itself, as you were going into, the force, and it can be impersonally given, impersonally projected, or can be personally engaged. So this impersonality-personality engagement, this spiritual and psychic engagement are two different interpretations of music. And they are visibly here, both of them.
The only thing is that I enjoy very much this, if it is pure in its pure state, and you see the being, which comes out as universal. It can be anyone's being. It is not your personal being. So the enjoyment is the widening in that. The enjoyment is of the perfection of the instruments and what they perceive in that landscape. Because
whatever music gives you, yes.
Exactly.
Yes, right.
The music is the landscape, and there is set a spirit, and on behalf of the music, this inner instruments awaken. They have to be awake to make to make it going, to make the mechanism going,
Yeah.
to make the forces going. Now the question is then, if the forces go already, and these forces have already their own way and their own mind and their own force, then if you start mixing, what is that?
Lina Saipant.
Linushka?
Hi, Lina. Linushka.
Hi.
Oh.
Okay, so this one is the question.
Okay, if there is this already there, so what was the question?
Exactly. So now if we go into this text and we can point out, for example, we were speaking the last time about the senses, how they are implied. Then, because this force, it needs to be a full force. It is also said, Sri Aurobindo says in this perfection of the instruments, when it comes to prana, when it comes to this psychic prana, which is the vital being, that it is the fullness which is important. Now, the fullness in regard to the senses is that they are all involved. So you can see, for example, by the way, I want to show you something. And on behalf of that, I would like to, this one, continue. So the physical prana, if we would all translate into the physical movement, which then we will enjoy, then there is udana, then there is prana, which would be, if we would take the movement as a pendulum, and the prana would be the intake of the force. Apana would be the release of that force. Samana would be the connection between one and the other movement, this joining of this movement. Dhyana would be then the effect of this movement on that what is around or what is within. And Udana would be then the reason of this movement, or the source of this movement. Now, I do this interpretation like this, and I just get a kind of orientation of what these things might mean. You might say yes or no, and it is possible that I'm wrong.
It's very interesting.
But I find this one a very practical thing to deal with matter and to deal with movement. Now, what Sri Aurobindo says, it is this. One specially termed prana moves in the upper part of the body and is preeminently the breath of life, because it brings the universal force into the physical system and gives it there to be distributed. A second, in the lower part of the trunk termed apana, is the breath of death, for it gives away the vital force out of the body. So would be this apana. A third, the samana, regulates the interchange of these two forces at their meeting place, equalizes them, and is the most important agent in maintaining the equilibrium of the vital forces and their functions. Now, in music, when you listen to this with this kind of lens of the movement, then you can make out what they do actually between one movement and the other movement. And I believe that this one is also that what I said about von Kube, that he was helping Furtwängler in determining the whole piece, how it is moving in its force. A fourth, dhyana, pervasive, distributes the vital energies through the body, throughout the body. The fifth, the udana, moves upward from the body to the crown of the head and is a regular channel of communication between the physical life and the greater life of the spirit. So I find this one is one help. The other one is that they ask someone, a coach of athleticism in America. I think it was 84 Olympic Games in America, somewhere there in the 80s. And they asked him, what is his future vision? And he recounted the incident of a small lady whose child came under the car. And this lady picked up the car, lifted it up, and took her child from below the car. Now, I recounted this to a student in Switzerland when I gave her classes, and she gave me a similar incident of a dog. You know, these Bernardiner dogs, these huge ones. They were something like 120 kg. And it was this lady's dog, and got run down by a car. And she lifted him up, and she went to the vet, and everything was fine. He put some bandages and God knows what. And she tried to do the same. Was not possible. So then what is this force that we have that gets somehow in special occasions, gets at the stuff of life, of the body, and uses it in such a way that there cannot be a force withstanding it. And this question about prana, what it is, what kind of force it is I find it is very interesting in this sense.
Yeah.
And you know all this, what Sri Aurobindo wrote about it, Vladimir, but I don't know if we all know about that. But it is...
Let's come with this kind of view to interpretation of these two ways of playing music and try to see where this prana and how this prana is this process of one and second interpretation, of the first and the second one. What does it do and how it differs? Let us look into it. Who is the player? The main thing, who is the player? Yes, if the player is the receiver of the music, he plays differently. If the player is the not receiver, but the self-expressing, expressing music as it is, trying not to interfere with any lower self, any other reflection self, any other individual self, enjoyer. If there is no enjoyer interpreting the music, but only the giver of the music, or the one who expresses it, and leaves it to be as it is, without really demanding anything, without expecting anything, without really anticipating anything, then you will have Shairic expression. That's what he was trying to do. But if you expect something, if you're looking forward to get something for yourself, if this is your playing for yourself, and that self perceives it, and by pressing already influences it, you can feel the reaction of it. I got the beat before, and my fingers cannot but express my gratitude, my happiness, my disappointment, my fear, everything of that what I heard. So if you have it, then you have this Vaishnavic interpretation.
Yeah, I am wondering about it, because you know that the perfection of the vital includes the capacity for possession and enjoyment.
Well, capacity can be limited or not at all there. It's another matter, but there are two different interpretations, and they are very clearly here defined by you for the first time, maybe, and that anybody can even look at these matters, that there are two different ways of playing music, because there are two different ways of seeing ourselves. One is spiritual, impersonal, and the other is of unborn self, self which is not born, which is beyond our birth and death. And from there, we can receive music as such without really showing what it does to us. Without showing, maybe receiving it, maybe hearing it, maybe reacting within ourselves, but without really interpreting it, without putting it into music. I was telling you about Richter's piano, which was shocking me because he was playing and the intensity was growing. You could feel the intensity, but it was not in articulation by his fingers.
Yes, exactly.
I do not know where it was from. It's as if it was there, played by him, but he technically was not doing it.
Okay. Now another question, because to me it seems that this fullness, we have given an idea of the fullness, what it means in the sense of the senses. I don't know, Shakti, you were not there, but we were discussing this thing that the music has all the other senses in it. So the eyes are the directions which you can perceive by listening. The flow is the taste that is responsible to taste it really well, to taste the movement. If you have heard Gould's interpretation, then he has given very much space to this tasting. Dum, dum, dum. He waited until really the force gathered and could go on, until the taste came out, because the flow is linked to time distance. And the more, you cannot taste too much because it will lose its taste. So you cannot wait too much nor too little. So this just amount, and in this just amount of tasting is hidden this this enjoyment. It is also enjoyment. It is not only that I mean, the fullness is also enjoyment. This purity of the thing. This you know, I am very much thinking lately on tejas as quality of the psychic, not of the psychic prana, as a quality of the emotion, of the heart. Because there are 4 qualities of the heart. There is sweetness, there is vigor, there is faith, and there is love. Now, if these 4 have to be heard also in musical terms all over, and they have to be, then this precision which you give with your fingers, which corresponds to your precision of rhythmic perception, inner rhythmic perception. Now I'm wondering if this is not where tejas is being revealed.
Interesting.
And the other one, and at the same time as there is this precision, this consciousness of being, even physically and with your awareness there in that moment of pointing it exactly in the right angle and exactly in the right time. Right angle belongs to the eyes, but also to this psychic quality of I put it right, tejas, of this fire of putting it right. And there is also the sweetness at the same time, that you put it with sweetness. There is love for that what you do, and there is your enjoyment of that love, which is bringing along this being, which is manifesting there in this creation when it starts creating. So it is impersonal, but it is not that it doesn't enjoy. It enjoys every single bit of that what is there.
Yeah, can I say something? I think it is process. We should remember that. And it is interval, and the music is time also, which is stretched the intention to manifest and simultaneously enjoy the thing, because the enjoyment is the motivation to start this process. Without that, no musician would act, actually. No musician would play if there is not that motivation of enjoyment. And I think the process is like a loop. It includes enjoyment in itself, because it's not possible otherwise to act, to do this process of music. Of course, you include a lot of different visions, different angles you are looking at. I was absent before, and I'm not yet catching, in those terms yet well. But I think you are fully right about the enjoyment. No musician can play without having this, at least in perspective. And more we include all our senses intuitively and let them be involved in the music, the sight, the coordination, the both brains, more consciously we acting, more better music comes, I think. And well, Vladimir was speaking about spiritual way, like Shaivik way and psychic, Vaishnavic. It's in a pure expression of it, because it cannot be pure Shaivik or pure Vaishnavic, isn't it? So it's all big mixed, and it's a lot of components activated when musicians start playing. And of course, part of us is the matter, which is the the medium of the sound. We create the sound and we vibrate in the same time. Because by this sound, what we create, we resonate it. And we resonate not only on physical, we resonate on all the bodies of ours, all the levels. So, and this vibration, starting from the gross one as a physical, towards the very subtle inner vibration, which is reaction on the sound. Voila.
Yeah, I want to show you something. You were saying about the vibrations. Look at this picture.
Mm.
This is just something very, very primitive of what otherwise is success. What is going on when things vibrate. But I found it so beautiful.
It is, yeah.
You have seen this picture?
Yeah, I saw this thing, how it works. Ding, 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 ding.
It's incredible.
Well, I saw a different one, not this one.
Isn't it? It is crazy. So you can imagine what happens when you play music and all these vibrations, they start playing by themselves, all kinds of forms. So what kind of psychology, you see how they enjoy these balls, their movements and their relationships? Incredible.
Wow, look at this.
Isn't it nice?
Incredible.
You can imagine what happened to our particles of our bodies, yeah? The same thing happens when the sound creates movement and frequencies.
And yeah, these are frequencies, length determines everything. Yeah? And that's how the frequencies of the string, when we choose different
Trajectory.
yeah, or either if they are of the same kind, we have to change the level, yeah, the length of the string. If they are thicker or thinner, then we can choose the same length, but thicker or thinner will choose us length of the same type. It is the same playing of the strings. They are tuned in the same way as these are playing.
Yeah, this is and it comes to my mind this thing what we said about the Egyptians, that when two things meet, they create beauty. You remember we were saying that?
Mm-hmm.
I can show you this one if you want. I can remind you of that, but I found it very interesting. And this was not here. Wait. Because Shakti was not there, I would like to read it again. Because this is, I think it was here. Beauty is not the quality of an isolated object. Beauty is a relationship between all objects, provided there is a witness able to perceive it. Then beauty becomes a psychological event. The lute, symbol of beauty, also means resonance. That beauty is founded on the resonance of two or many is an important psychological discovery coming to us from ancient Egypt. Without resonance, beauty would not exist. Resonance is beauty. We should learn to be pure vibration and even music. Beauty, beauty, beauty. Written with three lutes was the name the Egyptians gave to the universe. It is more than a name. It is an experience and an exclamation born from vibrating together with the great mother of all, the cosmos. But which the word cosmos, meaning beauty, no longer conveys to us. Beauty exclaimed 3 times also means the end of the night. This interpretation derives from the hieroglyph Lyud, which also signifies 0 and not. Nothing corpuscular is left, only vibration, resonance remains, signaling the end of ignorance. It was Medananda who was saying this. And you know this Egyptologist in the ashram?
I don't know him, but
No, he was the head of the library.
okay. Well, it's very, very, very nice, actually, and it corresponds to everything, to any performance of music or art, or whatever is created by intention of beauty. Yeah, from within. I think a lot of answer in this one can have accordingly to perform the music. So because we would like to resonate with each other through the instrumentation of music, because we would like to reach beauty, because this is aspect of the divine, one of the most important. So, and alone, playing to yourself, you can achieve it also through the inner listening to it. And there is really pure achievement of that aspect of the beauty. It's very, very intimate and it's like looking into your soul when you play to yourself and you get this enjoyment. It's one aspect, but when you play and you become just a pure instrument with your instrument, you can resonate and do this fullness also, which could be universal vibration, and you plug into it a resonance of the others, and then it multiplies, and then your soul enjoys plus to it with others together. So there is, two possibilities when we reach the same goal, basically. But we have to be, when we're musicians, we have to be really pure and neutral instruments. To reach the possibility to make others resonate. And then enjoyment comes of the soul. I think. I'm just imagining it. You played many concerts, you know how it is.
No, I just see that, you have to, there are certain requirements. You have to know, you have to gather some knowledge, and you have to gather some technique. Otherwise, it won't work.
Yeah, to develop your instrument, to be able to be neutral, to play some music that is coming from somewhere.
The thing we have to be, each one has his own technique and his own thing, and his own thoughts and his own school, and everything dates back into the past, and there is not a kind of it's a difficult, it is a difficult subject, because once you start playing together, then all comes up. Until then, we can be idealistic, but when it comes to that moment where you start working on it and building it up, then it becomes a mess. Usually, I know that.
No, but when you play alone, without other people.
Yeah, but it's fine. It's fine, but then you go. I mean, I personally, I go into the meditation of all that what we are saying. So all these things come up, and first of all, it is this technique where this being is revealed in the moment. And where then when you start playing, then you have to hold it somehow, that you don't lose it.
Yes.
That you don't hurt it. So you have as if this being had his own way, even physically, he has exigence of being able to be in that vibration.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It is not that you just take an instrument and that it is there. It's not there. There is the possibility that it is there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And there is always this presence which makes that it would be there if you would, I don't know, have the capacity to hold it with your body.
Mm-hmm.
If your body would, it is a big process only to follow one direction constantly with your body and make it sound.
Mm-hmm.
You are working with Pushka, no?
Yeah, I used to, yeah.
You were working. So this kind of listening to that being in sound, how it is standing there, and that you can keep it all the time standing throughout the piece. This is my main preoccupation in that what I do.
Okay. The concentration of on the physical and vital also very, very focused and very kind of directed in a particular, because it should be a trigger when you start working to open this door. Then this being can come and you hold it to it. It's not only physical, I suppose.
Yeah, you hold a presence, which is not the physical presence, but which is.
But by your condition of the physical, you have to hold it, right? Especially on the violin, it's demanding.
I mean, you just hold the direction, you know, as an actor who sees the moon where there is no moon. If he looks one time here and one time there, you won't believe him. But if he's constantly there in the same direction, then you believe him. Aha, he sees something, yes. And it depends on his relation. There is no moon. But in his eyes and in his acting, there will be the moon because he's capable of seeing it without even it being there.
Yeah. Well, so much self-realization and discovery through the process too, isn't it? If you make music and you do this kind of work, you have to see yourself differently after each concert, and the possibility to grow and progress and the weak points and everything. Yeah.
You know, I don't know about that because I'm not much concerned with that.
Okay.
I'm very much concerned with these things, what we were talking about, what I was reading also, and I still didn't finish reading that about prana, Vladimir. And this is this issue. If this force which you are with which you are set up this being, it has to have its own will power.
Yeah, no, I was going actually in a bit different direction before. Now I see where you are heading at. So you changed the direction. I was wrong about expression of the self, impersonal and personal section. Not totally wrong, but wrong in this, that where you are heading at. I thought you were heading at this, and now I see that it is not so. And the first player is also interpreting music in his way as he likes it. He likes more an aspect of power and less aspect of emotions, or aspect of some kind of, his own reflection. He likes to re-articulate it in his way. He's doing it. So he's basically also making out of music that he thinks is right. And that's what music is. So he is interpreting it in his way. First time I thought he was trying not to interpret it, not to touch upon it with his own self. But maybe it was fetching too far. It's really much higher level and much more difficult to achieve not to interpret music while playing. Because you have a physical living instrument, you have consciousness, you have a school of learning behind you, you have teachers telling you, you have everything, formed in you. So all that will come up subconsciously, even if you don't want. So it's not so simple, it seems.
No, not at all. But I find, the only way it is that the next one of these perfections of prana is equanimity. And you know how many chapters Sri Aurobindo has given on this behalf in the synthesis. And I was reading it, and it is just a full operation of psychology behind it, which you just have to study. And once you are there, basically, I am too much in love with both, with playing and with Sri Aurobindo, what he was trying to explain to us, because only through equanimity you come at a perfect equanimity. You come at a presence of that interpreter who is completely detached, but who is at the same time completely enjoying himself in this physical appearance. And you know that what Sri Aurobindo has written also about prana, that it is that divine who then sets his being into this world. I can read it. You want? I read it. This one. I have it here. But I don't want to.
With prana, there is a problem, big problem, because prana can be the instrument of the direct expression and of that self, and prana can be the engaged expression of the engaged self.
Yes.
And so here we have it. So it will play differently.
Yeah, it is. You are right. It is a kind of. There are so many different aspects of this force, and we can read it. It was this one.
Okay.
Thus, these four, Chakshu and Shrotram, Manas and Vak, according to the Upanishads, constituted Brahman Chatushpad, spirit on four legs or pillars, through which Brahman, the creator, was manifested in the world as prana, which very often was a symbol of the embodiment of Brahman itself, especially in the older Upanishads. Now, this is always in the back of the mind, because if it is like this, then there is a solution in the workings of this force.
This is the furthermore the force and the light of knowledge and the power. And so light and power, they are coming together in prana. Prana has this double aspect. And in that sense, there can be an expression more of knowledge, more of the interpretation or consciousness in it, or more of power. More powerful aspect is Shaivik, more interpretative aspect of the light of knowledge is Vaishnavik. So in a way, there is no mistake about this interpretation, but as Shakti said, it is never in pure sense and very difficult to maintain only one, because both are necessary.
Yeah, and this is the point that we try to get at this. The question is how you advance towards this purity, how you purify the being. Okay. Now, Sri Aurobindo says free prana means a content and satisfied light soul, which fronts the contact of outward things without desire and receives them with an equal response. Delivered, uplifted above the servile duality of liking and disliking, indifferent to the urgings of pleasure and pain, not excited by the pleasant, not troubled and overpowered by the unpleasant, Not clinging with attachment to the touches it prefers or violently repelling those for which it has an aversion, it will be opened to a greater system of values of experience. So if you take this one with that, what he says on equality, then you have a whole program ahead of you. And full of experiences, because it will be reflected your personal experience with the instrument. We are speaking now only about music, but naturally it is something that we can apply all over. Only in music we find a kind of laboratory of the psychology, of our own psychology, which we don't find otherwise, which is not so clear cut. It becomes then complicated with the world. Because there is never something like, but you said. No, it is only you that, who are there. So, and so this could be a very fine means to create a kind of a different approach to music.
So basically, when the interpreter, which is listening to the music it plays, is purifying its own preferences, kind of getting rid of preferences of one's own likings and dislikings, of one's own, forte and piano articulation he would like to have.
Yes.
He is able to widen the scope of perception and, truly speaking, an enjoyment of it. It becomes more impersonal, more spiritualistic, holistic, of that unborn self, where it comes from, if the unborn self is perceiving it.
Yeah, this is the point, that once you enter this music making like this, it becomes all an open field. It becomes, there is never a kind of finite falling into particularities. Everything belongs to this being that is constantly widening through that vibrating picture of itself in sound. Because finally, I like very much what he says, and what he says here, and I hope I find it. Because he speaks in this perfection of equality, superiority to the present reactions of the mind and life. So when you meet something, and you have in music making, and that what you do, and then you have to stop thinking what your teachers have told you, even though the laws of the thing itself you have to observe. I cannot not observe the standing if I want to go to the shop nearby. If I don't observe it, I will fall down or I will crawl. Then I will be stupid. And the same thing it is in music. You have to set the sound straight. There is nothing to do. But it doesn't say, it doesn't mean that it is a kind of different mind which is working at it. When your mind is saying, for example, in music making, no, you have to make a vibrato on all the sounds. This is stupid. These are these kind of stupid thoughts that people just set into the world because they have been great, and because in one moment in their lives they have given an interview and they said, you have to vibrate every note. So now the whole world is flooded of vibrato. Now, each vibrato, it throws out this standing being, and it makes him, shaky, emotional. Why that? Is it necessary? No, it is just a mode of doing. It's not necessary. It is disturbing.
It's an excitement.
Yeah, so come on, just cool it, no? Then there is this likeness of the nature or the law of the being, of the divine, to achieve unity between the transcending and universal and the individual spirit. So through equality, you will achieve a likeness of that being which is beyond, which is not connected or not involved. Yes, if you want, involved, but not free of these actions and reactions in this world. So in musical terms, it is free of everything. And only by equality, by the realization of this equality, you will get to the likeness of that spirit beyond and that spirit here, that individual spirit. So the only door to such an interpretation would be that you learn how to be completely equal. It doesn't mean that you throw out your being, that you become, how to say, not interested anymore. On the contrary, you are very interested because this being is very interested in everything, because it is upholding everything with this kind of supreme power, with this prana.
You are differently interested. You are not interested in the interpretations of particularities. You are interested to reach to that universal being. You are looking for it to embody itself. You are looking for its vastness and its everlasting presence. And in that sense, the whole articulation is changing its pace and its modality.
Exactly. Everything will change. The rhythm will change. The intensity will have another meaning. The timings, the directions will have another meaning, because that direction which points towards the horizon will be something different. It will nourish, like in that piece of Furtwängler. Just listen to it carefully and listen to what the directions do. And this direction of verticality, how he is holding it throughout that piece, and how this opening of that horizon is reaching infinity in vision. I find it, the only way out of this mess which we are now in, because interpretation has reached weird things with this globalization and everything, which I don't find bad, but we need a kind of reorientation globally. Well, at least privately now.
I think I say goodbye to everybody. It's 10 o'clock here.
Okay, it was nice.
I see you. Yeah, when next day or where? Next Saturday?
Next Saturday we meet, yeah, right.
Но в пятницу вы збираєтесь із Наташою чи ні?
Yes, I will also be.
Ну, я з тобою ще зійдуся. Thank you. So nice to see you all. Bye, good night.
Bye, Shak.
All right, we have it, nice, nearly 2 hours. Very good. I think that this was more clarification into this. There is also the format, which is of the impersonal interpretation on how personality has to come to the impersonal interpretations, how it has to want to reach out to the universal. And if it wants, if it does it, then there will be this new quality of music, which will be more applicable to many more people, and many more beings, in many more times, yes, which would not be determined by one particular cultural time.
Exactly. It goes out of cultural
time. Yes, right. Which is very important also. So it becomes kind of a universal, infinite, eternal expression of the self. Which is beautiful. Yes.
So that is already happening with some pieces of music. Oh, I don't know.
You know, this is a difficult discussion because we might perceive here and there lights, but until now I haven't heard anything, really not. And even that by Gould, it's not. There is a kind of he wants to penetrate in this last piece. I have the impression he wants to penetrate behind the screen, you know. I don't have the impression in this sense of equanimity. I have the impression of great purity. He's pure, you know, he's clean. But I don't have the perception of that. I have the perception that he deals with the stuff.
Right. It's rather a innocence than purity. He's innocently trying to be something in that moment. Right. Purity requires more work.
Yeah. So, but still, it is interesting because what we see, what goes in that direction, we start thinking completely differently about interpretation. It is no more about how fast your trill is or how refined your sound is. It's not at all about that. So we try now to connect to those terms which will lead us there. And they are very physical. There is a great physical necessity of knowing, of building up your own technicality on this criteria. There is the necessity of your vital to purify the whole thing. There is the necessity of having the right ideas, which are clear and which always point to that. And there is this emotional part which needs also to be taught the right thing. And about this we can talk and we can. But you know, I don't want to. Next time I will be in India, Vladimir.
Already, oh, so lovely. I have to buy my ticket to India still. And I have already everything, visa, I can go.
When are you coming?
Most probably it will be at the end of January.
January. And you, Gunhild?
I don't know because my mother's not so well, and I don't